This practice is going to explore how we can move through our hips today and how that relates to how the pelvic floor moves. So we'll primarily be laying on our backs. So if that's something that's not comfortable for you, make sure you grab any props that might feel supportive. So you can just take your time making your way all the way to your back. And we can just start with the knees bent. And the feet a little bit wider than the hips, maybe even as wide as your mat. And from here, maybe allowing the knees to just move in towards each other, finding some support of the other leg. And in this hip internal rotation, where the knees are moving towards each other, what's actually happening with the sit bones is that they move away from each other. So as we're breathing here, perhaps we notice a lengthening through the back of the pelvic floor. So as you breathe in, if you could imagine that space between your sit bones, maybe visualizing a hammock between two trees. As you invite breath into the abdominal cavity and the rib cage, maybe we imagine that hammock between the trees gently lowering towards the ground or the feet, just by that gentle breath. Maybe visualize some wind, allowing it to come down. And then as you breathe out, maybe it just gently moves back up towards the sky. Inhaling, space between the sit bones lengthening, maybe that hammock descending. And exhaling, just a natural recoil. And then from here, we'll just start to bring our feet back to more of a neutral position. Maybe walking them in towards each other a bit. And bringing our hands to our two hip bones here. I want you to visualize a tray across those hip bones. And imagine you want to keep it nice and steady. So let's just take a couple breaths here without any extra movement. Just visualize that, notice that. Inhaling to invite movement within the rib cage, pelvic floor, abdominal wall. And exhale as everything gently recoils back in. And we're going to start to move through the right leg. So take an inhale, and as you exhale, keeping those hip bones right where they are, allowing that leg to come out in and out to the side, and then back in. Inhale here, and exhale, knee comes out, lean out, and back in. Once more, inhaling here. Exhaling, that knee falls out, nice and controlled. You might notice some activity happening within that deep core system. And we'll move on to that left side. So inhaling here, and exhaling, keeping that lunge tray where it is, letting that left knee come out and back in, starting to invite some external rotation within the hips. Inhale here. Exhale, that knee comes out and in as if there's a flashlight on our kneecap that we're just trying to draw a big light arc overhead. And noticing how, as we're moving and adding some asymmetry, that deep core system is supporting us here. From here, we'll take that right knee just bring it in towards the chest and grab onto the knee. And start to encourage that knee to come up towards your right armpit. And so we're in a half happy baby here. And again, you might still think about keeping those hip bones on the same plane, gently pressing down through the sacrum, or the very lowest part of our spine, to kind of see what our isolated hip motion looks like. Then we'll bring that knee back down. And on the left side, we can just bring our left knee to meet our hand and bring it gently up towards our left armpit, almost at a diagonal. And again, same thing from here. Maybe you think about keeping those hip points level like that. Let's try. Just notice what this movement feels like for you. And then we can return that leg back down. And then from here, we'll just start to walk those feet out a little further. And we'll extend the arms out into the T. On your next exhale, you can allow both those knees to fall towards the right, actively pressing through your left inner border of your foot. Taking a couple breaths here. Imagining one long line from your left kneecap to your left shoulder. So now on this side, one hip's in external rotation on the right side and internal rotation on the left. Inhale to come back to center. And then exhale to the left side, dropping both knees in that direction. And maybe pressing through the inner border of the right foot. And just noticing how this side feels compared to the other. It's totally fine if it feels different. And then we'll bring the knees back up. And then we'll take a happy baby on both legs. So you can either stay within the knees, just grabbing those knees, bringing them towards the armpits, or you might choose to bring the hands to the inside of the shins and stay here. Some people might choose to also reach for the feet and kind of coming up more into this position. I like sometimes staying just right here so that you can really feel the back of the pelvis grounded on the mat. And it gives a good opportunity to just observe that motion truly within the hips versus within the lumbar spine when you feel that pelvis lift off. And through here, you might gently just invite some side-to-side movement. You might again bring your attention to those sit bones and visualize that hammock lowering towards the ground as you inhale. And we can just bring the knees in towards the chest, kind of closing together. Just give yourself a little hug. Take a couple of breaths here as long as this feels comfortable. Maybe think about the tailbone lengthening out in front of you. And taking any time you need before you go on with the rest of your day, maybe just laying in stillness for a little bit. Thank you.